Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be working out in our side garden, which is a situation that we need to get situated. It's so messy back here. And Sergey and I were talking about coming in and starting to get everything weeded. We have some plants that we want to lay out, but before we do, we have to get this cleaned up because I'm having such like a block in my mind because there's so many things everywhere that I can't visually see what I have drawn out. I've drawn it out. Now I want to start executing it. And the first thing that we have to do is kind of get this area all cleared out. So really, this is going to be day one of our new side garden project, which is very exciting. So here's what we've got going on, and it's quite a mess. So let's not judge because we don't judge on this channel, but let me turn you around and show you what's going on once you walk through our gate. So when you walk through our gate, we are entering our side garden. Now, if you're new here, we are in the middle of, well, we're at the tail end of a remodel. Our siding is going to be the last thing that is done. They've had to take some of it out to put in a window here. We added a huge window to our primary bathroom. So that's why this situation is happening right here, if you're ever curious. So when you walk in, this is kind of our vision. We've kind of talked about what we're going to be doing in terms of a path, and then we're going to be planting heavily on either side of the path. But what I want to do is start to kind of group things together, maybe all towards the fence. That way we can start clearing things out. And when we come in here with our marking tape and some spray, we can start laying out the path. Now, here's the thing with the actual path. Before we start really laying things down, we need to come in here and do a French drain. We have been having such an issue with water kind of running off from like our neighbors into our yard. So we were thinking of putting a French drain in the center so that way the water kind of collects towards the center and it's not going towards the fence or towards the house, which is obviously going to be very important. Eventually, when we do replace the fence, we will probably put up some sort of like small retaining wall. So that's going to help as well. But it's been so wet this season. Not more than usual, but the days that we've had heavy rain, we've been noticing a lot of pooling water. So we know we have to get that taken care of. Now, Sergey and I are going to attempt the French drain ourselves, and we're going to try to connect it to our big dry well that we have in the back. We've never done a French drain, and I kind of signed him up for it because you know how our husbands love when we sign them up for projects. It's the best. But he said, but I know he's done it before. I think he's done one before. So I feel like it's not that hard to do. I think if you've ever done a French drain, let me know. Was it hard? Like, do you have any tips or tricks? But either way, I don't think it's going to be too challenging. So we're going to try to start working on that as soon as we have more clear days ahead of us. And then we can start really looking at the pathway. But either way, when we draw out the pathway, we kind of have to know where that's going to go. That way we know where our French drain is going to go. So if we continue on, you can see we have a lot of plants that need to get planted. We know it's a problem, but here's the thing. We've had some of these things for a while and we just haven't found a final home for them. These are grapes that Sergey had ordered from California, and we were playing with the idea of planting like a couple of rows of grapes, like wine grapes. More on that whenever we get to it, but that's what these are, and they've just been kind of in these containers for a long time. They really either need to be planted or they need to be rehomed. So we're going to tackle that hopefully this year. And then on this side, I just have some random hydrangeas. We have some heucheras, I don't even know what's going on over there. There's a peony over there. There's a couple of trees. All of these things is what we've bought to put, well, some of it anyways, to go into the side garden. And it's just been delayed and delayed and delayed because we've been focusing on the house and other projects in the backyard and in the front. The other thing I would like to do is come in and see how heavy some of these slabs of our white oak is. So if you recall, we used to have a huge white oak tree. We had that removed. We hired somebody to come mill it because I wanted to make tables and benches out of it. And it's been hanging out here. It's been drying. It was covered. I uncovered it and it got rained on, but I think it's going to be fine. So I want to come in and start clearing things out from above it and see if Sergey and I can move it ourselves. That's kind of maybe wishful thinking on my end, but we'll see how they feel once I clear some of these things out. But my thing is, if we can get this removed and tucked away somewhere else for now, that kind of gives me an idea of the trees and everything that we want to put in this area as well. One of the ideas I've been toying with for quite a while is either having like a mini little coop here somewhere, like tucked in between trees. And we were thinking about getting ducks, but that's a secret. Or I was thinking about doing a little potting bench out here so I can come and like just have quick access to arrange flowers and water and those types of things in the summertime. But I'm not sure if that's going to go with the aesthetic of the side garden that I'm looking for. So that's still up in the air, but that was just like one idea that I also was kind of toying with. All of those details will come within time. I know they will, but I am just also somebody who gets really excited about projects and I just want to go, go, go. But really the main focus for today, we're going to just clean everything out, probably move everything to one side. That way it makes it a little bit easier to digest the space a little bit more. And then we'll see what we can do with some of this wood. I also want to move these containers. These were our bulb lasagnas that we planted together several months ago, and I've left them here. And I know this looks so terrible, but I had to cover them with netting because the squirrels kept digging them out when they were trying to hide their nuts in here. So this was like my temporary solution. But I think they're to the point where they're not going to be disturbed too much, but at least we can start placing these out into the garden and start enjoying them that way. All right, you guys know the drill. Let's just jump right in. right, well, we got quite a bit done today. This area, I even hear like an echo. It feels so open now that we've moved a lot of these plants out to the entrance. So let me show you what we did and talk about what the thought process was, and then talk a little bit about the wood and what's going on over here. So I wanted to move all of the plants towards the entrance of the garden. That way, when we start working here in the back, we're not obstructed by any of the plants or the trees. Eventually, when we do come in and draw in the path, maybe like in the next couple of weeks, when we have, again, just clear weather, is move everything to the driveway. That way we can really just hone in on the whole pathway, because I would like the path to go all the way to the gate and maybe continue on out into the front garden. Now, if I swing you guys this way, you can see how much bigger everything looks. I mean, just all, like, look at all of the possibilities of all of the trees we can put over here. I mean, just think about how beautiful that's going to look, especially also when we finish the shed. We're going to redo the siding of the shed too to match the house when we get that done. And then I want to have some beautiful planters in front of it. I think it's going to look so pretty. The door definitely is going to be changed. But here's the thing with the wood. Sergey and I came out, we removed some of the stones here, and then we started to lift this, and it doesn't feel too heavy, but we started to see a lot of little white worms. I don't know if you probably won't be able to see it through this camera, but I'll put up a quick little clip from Sergey's phone. So we were going to do a little bit of reading and understand what that is, because when we move this wood, we're going to put it up against the back of the shed until we're ready to do the tables. And then some of the other pieces I'm going to give away to my friends. But I want to make sure that this isn't going to be a problem. We're going to spray this wood either way with something to treat it. But I just want to figure out what these little tiny little worms are on the wood before we actually start moving it. Having those containers gone here just really was obstructing that view, and now things look a lot more open. We placed the bulb lasagnas throughout the garden so we can enjoy those blooms. And then those containers, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them, if we're going to keep them or give them away. They're not really fitting the vibe of the rest of the garden, so we'll see what we're going to do with them. But we cleared everything out over here. We do have some construction material that we need to have our contractors come and pick up and take away the materials we didn't use. So there's just like little bits and pieces that still need to get done, but that's what's going to make the biggest difference, is getting rid of all these little things and just get it all really tidied up. Now, of course, I can stay out here and continue working into the night. I have no problem. It feels really nice outside, but it is getting dark. So Sergey's like, it's probably time to wrap it up. And I was like, but I want to stay. It's like a little kid being outside. I don't want to go inside. But anyways, we did get quite a bit done. This was kind of a rough cleanup, but I do want to come in and again, just continue weeding just to get the bulk of the weeds out, especially like the little grasses that are popping up everywhere. And it's so funny because it's like grass always grows where you don't want it to grow. You know what I mean? Like it pops up so beautifully, like these beautiful little clumps of lush grass. And you're like, why aren't you doing that in my lawn? Why are you doing that over here where I don't want you to do that? So anyways, we're going to have to come back in and really get after all of these little grasses everywhere. Those big containers, boy, those suckers are heavy. Those are going to be part of the landscape over here in the side garden. I plan on planting 2 different trees in those containers. One of them is going to be a maple. I'm not sure about the other one, but those containers or those trees that we're planning to plant in those containers will be coming with us. That's why I wanted to keep them in a container so it'd be easier to move, because I love those trees so much. And I told Sergey when we bought them, these are coming with us in our forever home in the future. So that's what those are for. So we definitely have to kind of situate those in where we want them, but we still need to bring in the trees first, because those are going to be our anchor pieces. And then we can start, planting the smaller things, but the trees have to go first. But of course, the pathway and the French drain, all of that will come in first. We'll get all of that laid out nicely, and then we can start planting, which is going to be the fun part. I cannot wait. I got so many ideas this year from the Northwest Flower Garden Show, and then I came back and I looked at my sketch that I had done on my iPad, and I was like adjusting some things. And I love this part of the process, because this is where you dream and you really get excited about the plants and all of the like small little details. And it's just going to be so much fun to bring you guys along through the whole process. And if we're looking at the side garden from this angle, just look at how open everything is right now. I cannot believe how much space we have in this area. I am so excited about this new garden space. Anyways, that will do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today in my garden, and I'll see you guys in our next video. Bye-bye.